Hey everyone, Sugren here. Hope everyone's doing well. Today a video about, in reaction to Southern Nordic's latest where he directs words at younger men to find a partner in life. And I wanted to add to that a little bit. So, yeah, what I'm going to add to is don't just look for physical beauty in a partner. It means nothing at the end of the day. It seriously does not. You need to find someone that you can find happiness with. You may say, well, you may like athletic women or what have you, and these models tend to be athletic. There's going to probably be a purpose behind wanting that, right? Maybe in yourself it lacks a little, and you want to find a potential that your children may have that ability, so they'll be better than you. That's kind of what that goes hand in hand with usually. But you gotta be realistic, right? Actually, you know what? Let's begin with yourself instead of looking at someone else first. You do not need to be the most handsome guy, you do not need to be the strongest guy, you don't need to be the most intelligent, you don't need to be, definitely not be the nicest guy. Neither should you be the opposite of that and be an a-hole. But in the first and foremost you should realize about yourself is you're a flawed being. And you have the ability in life to improve yourself. You do not at the get-go need to be at the top of the world. You can build for potential towards that. That's another thing entirely. So what may that mean? Let's say you're a lard ass. Because, whatever the reason, it doesn't matter. And women, what do women tend to see in that? Or anyone with a sane mind, really. What do they see in such? Well, they see someone who doesn't take care of himself. They see someone who lacks energy, perhaps more prone to illness, etc., etc., etc. That's what being a lard ass, that's what the usual issue with that is. It's not being, that someone is fat is usually not the problem in and of itself. But it is often a sign of ill health, lacking health. And who wants to have children with someone who lacks health? Who wants who wants to be a partner with someone that lacks health? Would you? Would you look at someone and say, oh, this person is working her or his way up to 2 or 3 types of diabetes and needs to cut off a leg at some point to stay alive? Can barely stand without being out of breath? No, you don't want that. Unless I suppose you're absolutely deranged. And it's the same for everyone towards anyone else. It's the same for you too. Doesn't need to mean that you are an Olympic athlete on the other hand of that, right? No, just be healthy, be fit enough. And once you have gained someone's attention, don't use someone else as an excuse to stop improving yourself. That's horrible. That's actually how a lot of relations end. In addition to, what makes it important then is that you improve yourself where you really see yourself continuing to improve for the rest of your life and not a day less. If you cannot do that, well, you don't deserve anyone. Because it means that you're a selfish, insert whatever blank you want there. So yeah, it begins with yourself. You can always, and it's all not always physical only. Intelligence, learning a skill set. Do you show potential? Do you have potential? That's usually the most important part. Embrace the potential within yourself. And yeah, I think I've covered at its very foundation, how to attract a mate. When they say be yourself, it usually comes down to improve yourself where you see yourself doing it for the rest of your life and actually enjoy doing it. So you, actually get happier. And let's say then that for you that means you'll you'll never be athletic. Well, then I suppose you won't be attracting the women that want athletic men, but you will be attracting the women who want whatever else it is that you get better at. That's usually how it works. In regards to, and as far as skill sets go, skill sets are also just a sign of intelligence and physical dexterity, etc. Usually, certain insights, which can also be attractive. It actually goes, both ways. Let's say a woman who is very good at knitting. What does she show? Well, she shows she is capable of precision, patience, again, that dexterity stuff for the fingers, etc. It's not always that you need to look at what's directly going on, you need to look 2 steps further, or at least 1 step further. What's behind all of that? What's behind a certain skill? Is that skill, does that skill show something about a person? Does it have a purpose? Does it gain someone resources? Does it gain someone fame? Does it show that this person is perhaps worth being around in any possible fashion? I think that's helpful. I definitely would like to think so. That, actually, I wish someone told me that when I was younger. Also, for young men, don't be in a rush. I see young fellas, 19 years old, speaking about having a wife and children. Maybe there was a point in time when we were all adults at an earlier age than we are today. And that made it sensible that you had in your 20s, early 20s already had a child or 2 children or what have you. Today, I don't think that's realistic. And as for guys specifically, late 20s is when you are getting out of your formative years. It takes that long. It takes time to sculpt quality, right? Provided you spend your years sculpting. At least often enough. For females, I suppose it's more, just pick a good guy, pick a good man. If you really love your people, you will not stand for anything less than a guy who is going to protect you, who does something, at least one thing, that perpetuates the existence of the people that you care about, etc., etc. And please, for everyone, what you should never do is be with someone because you're afraid to die alone. That is the single most stupid thing anyone can do. Wanna know why? Because you're gonna get with the first the best that comes along. You're gonna make each other miserable. You're gonna live unhappy lives. And whichever that person was of value, that might have just been a month later or long in your life, or whatever, or maybe a few years, you'll have never met him or her, or never been able to go into that sort of relationship with him or her. And those who do, well, now you've got, a divorce on your hands, or whatever it's going to be, a breakup, which is often bad enough for most. As for young men, when you're looking for a woman, so to say, I think putting yourself out there is the most wise thing to do. and create an environment that the sort of woman that you want can feel at home in. For example, Hamnorsholm. I would say that we create a place where good women that love our people can come to. And they do not need to fear any sort of complaining or whining about women whatsoever. Because the three of us will cut that shit short very quickly, as we have done before. With people who were following us for a while. We don't stand for it. Now we've created then a place where these women, where our women can come and feel happy, feel cherished, which they are. Now you've created a sort of a pool where, the men and the women come together. People start talking. They start figuring out, oh, what is he good at? What is she good at? What does she like? What does she prefer? Etc. etc. And people start coming together. And couples get formed. Next point. Always hold yourself to a high standard yourself. And the standard should be rooted in your personal virtues, not in an ideology. People really are not interested to marry an ideology. If they do, they are lost. You can perhaps find a partner who agrees in the same ideology, but guess what? I've seen it happen. That certain uniform from the 20th century, a man and a woman, they really both love it, or the idea of it. They get together because of that. And the household ended up breaking apart after 4 or 5 years or something. Why? Because it was all based on ideology. There was no genuine love there, which is just horrible. And if you then say, well, what are my personal virtues? Well, that's soul searching, dude, or woman. Usually, for me, I guess, bravery is one for me. I always try to be as brave as I can be in daily life. I always physical strength is an important one for me, so I exercise and get enough rest so that my body can heal. Writing, I like writing too. That's something that I'll come out with sooner or later. Not yet, but in a while. It's maybe not so much a virtue, that's more of a skill set. No, better example. Loving my people, loving family. And I out that by financially supporting my family. I out that by playing with just having fun and always being there when someone needs me as best as I can. Of course there are limits. I won't be taken advantage of, but that's another matter. You just need to figure out for yourself where your virtues lie. Is bravery also your thing? Is nobility a thing for you? Is stubbornness can be a virtue if you apply it right. Can you feel that righteous anger when someone gets hurt? Unjustly, for that matter. Can you summon then an amount of anger and then actually vent it well? That's another one. Composure, self-discipline. These are very important skills. And virtues at the same time, in my opinion, but you look at it as you want. I think that's helpful in finding someone. And never lower your standards for someone else. Never. Also, beauty. That's the other thing, right? For the guys out there, we all like, well, On average, let's look at the societal standard. We like the ladies with, you know, the bright blue eyes and the golden hair, and she has a firm, what would you call that, hourglass figure, and she's always smiling and blah 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 blah. Imagine then you meet someone like that, and you meet someone like that, and she says that all men of a particular people should just be in servitude of the rest of the world. Are you then going to still say she's pretty? I hope not. In fact, she kind of just displays there that she is someone you should steer clear of, that she is unworthy of you. In fact, the kind of female that only uses her beauty to get attention, that's in general just a bad sign, because what kind of substance is underneath there? Perhaps not that much. Maybe, you know, certainly there are these exceptions. But then, yeah, try to get rid of these ridiculous ideals. It's not realistic. What else? Yes, this is something that a lot of young guys do today. The love that they should apply on their people, they apply on women, on females, what have you, on the one they want to be theirs forever and ever. So unhealthy. It really is. The way how I see it is when you couple with someone, it's team. You're forming a team with a friend that happens to be, you know, from the opposite sex. That's it. You team up, and the teaming up is in purpose to, you know, yeah, to have offspring that is going to survive and thrive, and to, I guess, you know, yeah, complete that half that you are. The gender half, I suppose, of being either a man or a woman, and needing that other half to be there to complete. Doesn't mean that everything is just settled from there. I mean, the completion itself requires improvement too. But if you do it with the right person, you know, come that you may be angry with one another sometimes or whatever it's gonna be, you'll see things through. Yeah, I think that's also an important one. And never put someone else on a socket, whoever it is, whatever suit they wear. That's just a rule in general. No matter their title, no matter what kind of suit they wear, no matter their job, no matter what have you, look at someone as a person that is flawed, with a lot of good in them, hopefully. And that should be especially so for the one you partner up with. And be able to admit your flaws to yourself and to thus also your partners. The flaws that you can work on and the flaws that are just part of you. If you have one leg and you consider that a flaw, okay, well that's a bit an obvious one. Let's say you have a skin affliction and it's on your back. Nobody can technically see it. Do you then have the nobility to actually say that to the person you want to be with? It's like, yeah, I actually have this stuff, and then let him or her decide. Well, it's no barrier for me, or it is. Be honest. People also say be confident. Well, that's easy, yeah. That's the easy thing. Well, just be confident. Okay, but where does confidence come from? Usually that's where it ends, right? But I can give you some advice. Confidence comes from being capable. And capable comes from, you know, again, learning skill sets. Giving yourself outs. Giving yourself options in life. That's where confidence tends to come from. In every field, by the way. Not just in terms of looking for a partner. Yeah. Another one. women, yeah, I kind of alluded to it. Never put someone on a socket, right? And yeah, stay yourself. I know some people may like that. Suddenly they couple together and it's like, oh baby, oh honey, kisses and hearts all the damn day. Whereas like just before that happened, you would have never considered even doing that. And okay, it should be, you should work on a relationship, right? You should show affection. That makes sense. But do it in your own way, not how society tells you to do it necessarily. If hearts are the way to go about it, if kisses are the way to go about it, fine. Be creative. That's usually what, yeah. The person chose you, not societal norms. So be you, as best as you can. And always remember to improve you. Being yourself doesn't mean that you can stagnate. No, it needs to mean that you become a better you every single day. For everyone involved, not just yourself, actually. Is there something else? Have patience, I guess. And have demands. Sane demands, if you please. And be willing to break off the attempt if you see that it's going to go nowhere. Be able to, I don't know, a date, whatever. It's not my thing. I've never dated in my life. Uh, but some people like to do this whole, oh, I barely know you, so let's go to a restaurant or whatever it's going to be. Be able to be that guy who's talking with a woman, and if she then says, yeah, I don't know, whatever it's gonna be, I don't want children. Don't get angry. Just be like, okay, and you get up out of your seat. That is your call, and wish you all the best. But I'm not going. That's not me. So goodbye. Be willing to do that. I mean, you're only choosing the person that should last you a lifetime, right? I guess you may want to be a bit careful. And be patient when it comes to that. Yeah, I already mentioned that. But and there is a certain swiftness required too. Don't be that guy who sees a girl and then immediately start adding emotions and kind of a faux relationship, I suppose. If that makes sense. Yeah, like you see her and she's like, oh, she's so pretty and oh, she's so wonderful and we will do this together in life, we will do that together in life. Maybe females do it too, I don't know, but it's really unhealthy because that's not the real person there. These ideal scenarios in your head, it's from movies. It's basically meme pathogens. It's some sort of infection of the mind. I actually also recommend never watching any, movies about romance or what have you, because it's always full of nonsense and very misleading, on purpose, I think even. So what else? Uh, I'm certain there is a few more points I should bring up that don't quite come to me in the moment. How about mm, yeah, how you see life build out? I suppose it's kind of a given. I'm pretty sure most people already know this. But be willing, of course, to compromise in terms of how you live. If you say, I want to live on a farm with, and I want to have 50 chickens, and if the other one then says, well, how about 20 chickens and we'll have like 5 goats? Can we do that? I mean, yeah, I guess it's a bit of a silly example, but I mean, hopefully you're intelligent enough to see where I'm gonna go with this. Oh, I want a house with an oven. No, I want one with an electrical furnace. I mean, if you can get over stuff like that, again, maybe you're just not ready for relationships, or it's not the right person for you either. It's difficult sometimes to find a good one, especially in these days where everyone is taught to hate each other. Just wow. But it's possible. Hmm. Is there something else? Be hopeful in a healthy way. There are some guys out there also, yeah, maybe for the guys who actually are a bit older than me too, who haven't found the goodie. You need to realize, I suppose, that you've grown up at an unfortunate time frame. There wasn't really a defense against all this anti-white stuff in societies in the West, and it did the damage it did. But I do really recommend that you look into it now and find the verbiage to defend yourself with, but also to reframe your mindset. And if you've been burned, I'm sorry that happened to you. But it's these bastards that were most likely responsible for it at the root of things. Even though, everyone has his own responsibilities to take, it doesn't mean that whomever burned you and did it because she or he was an anti-white, that you should automatically be like, oh well, I forgive them, because no, they are still responsible for what they did. But if you accept the situation, it may just actually clear up your mind and may give you focus. And I see people, guys that I would figure, it's a bit anecdotal, but I've always been kind of raised with the idea that elderly people, people older than me, like as an age, physical age, should be more wise, should be more knowledgeable, etc. Should be more controlled. I suppose that's, I've seen the opposite of that sometimes. I've had guys who could be my grandfathers that I've talked with, and I was helping them out in life, giving them life advice. It kind of leaves me to wonder what they did with their years. But I'm not going to judge them for it. I guess it's just a bit saddening. But be you 40 or 50, you must have accumulated some skill sets that are useful, that have seen you through life. Maybe one of the things that you should be doing is utilize them, not just individually, but for a people. Pick which one, I guess, and show that you're doing so, and also tell younger men of your mistakes that you made, so they may hopefully not do them. Do you have the nobility for that? I know many of you guys have. And good women, younger women of fertile age, let's say, they will see that, and they may end up appreciating that, may come knocking. I guess they just need to see that you are, if you're a bit older, actually for all men, but especially for those who are a bit more long in the tooth. It's like, are you the size of a house? No. Do you have bulging muscles? Or if that's not your thing, in life? Are you super athletic? Are you, you know, have you know, can you, do you have certain skill sets to do group events? You know, and none of this damn shit that gets you in trouble with the state or what have you. Keep it legal, damn it. And let go of ideologies that have clearly not served you or anyone around you. The things that you might have done with your life for the better if you let go of that crap. And for others. Do you have the ability to actually change your mind and to analyze when something does not work? And whatever pain you are in, young or old, it's gonna feel worth it when you find that one that should be befit you. One of the final things I want to say is, uh, never dare complain. Don't you dare. The moment you whine, what are you doing? You're gonna whine a woman to be with you? Like, are you even serious? Can you imagine some cretin of a female whining about wanting a man? Are you then going to be like, oh yeah, here I am? Of course not. So don't expect the same thing from women. How many do that? I just can't believe it. Wow, I'm already half an hour into this. Feels like I'm at it just for 5 minutes. And find happiness in what you do. Happiness attracts attention, good attention. And again, only accept good people in your life. That way, good women will notice that, oh, this guy has standards, and look, he keeps all the bad people away, so I do not need to be worried that he's going to, suddenly invite some, I don't know, some villainous character in the house saying it's a friend. No. Cut such nonsense short. Doesn't matter what they did for you before, or what they didn't, which you perceive as help or what have you. Yeah, takes a bit of courage to do that though. Do you have the courage to do that and build your way up? Are you going to use the years behind you as an anchor around your neck to